outrage over diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, it never ends. And now it's reached Johns Hopkins Hospital, one of the world's finest. It's facing backlash for a newsletter sent out by the facility's chief diversity officer, Sherita Golden. In it, she reveals that the diversity word of the month is, you got it, privilege. And she claims, quote, in the United States, privilege is granted to people who have membership in one or more of these social identity groups. Well, which groups? She lists them. White people, able-bodied people, heterosexuals, cisgender people, males, Christians, middle or owning class people, middle-aged people, English-speaking people. She goes on to emphasize that, quote, privilege is a characteristically invisible to people who have it. People in dominant groups often believe they have earned the privileges that they enjoy, or that everyone could have access to these privileges if only they worked to earn them. In fact, privileges are unearned and are granted to people in the dominant groups, whether they want those privileges or not, and regardless of their stated intent. But now, Golden is backtracking. She's apologizing, quote, the newsletter included a definition of the word privilege, which upon reflection, I deeply regret. In fact, because it was overtly simplistic and poorly worded, it had the opposite effect of being exclusionary and hurtful to members of our community. I retract and disavow the definition I shared, and I am sorry. Good that she apologized, speaking to the only privileged person on this couch, the white cisgender male. Your thoughts?
I literally hit every one of those things.
You do. Bing, bing, bing.
Listen, and I'm glad Dr. Golden apologized, but it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because I'm a kid that grew up in Northeast Philadelphia in a row house. My dad was a Navy veteran, served 20 years as a cop in Philadelphia. My mom was a legal secretary. I went to community college. I joined the Army in 19. And our country is about opportunity. Our country is about, we are a nation of immigrants, and we are hardworking people. So when you have people like Dr. Golden who wants to divide us day after day, there is a reason why after World War II, 92% of kids in America were going to be better off than their parents. Today, it's 50%. You know why? Because people don't believe in the American dream. They think it's run by corporate America. They think it's people are dividing us, and people are dividing us. And it's happened on both sides. So we got to stop. We got to remember what's great about our country, because 2 years from now, it's going to be our 250th anniversary. We better get back to our roots and appreciate what we're all about.
Yeah, well said. I mean, Dagan, you read books like Hillbilly Elegy, The Life Story of J.D. Vance. I mean, just your skin color doesn't determine your privilege. There are people who grow up destitute, in poverty, without father figures, who don't have a hand up in the world and get to where they are through hard work and achievement.
And this is not just about this one woman. And it used to be, you know, kind of the iconic bigot was Archie Bunker. But hey, we've got a new one every day now, don't we? These offices of diversity, equity, inclusion, I'm going to call it destroy, eradicate, or inculcate, because that's what it is. They're at every university. They're in every major corporation. And they are racist in the name of anti-racism. You know, after Claudine Gay resigned at Harvard, still has a job, you know, there was a lot of angsty chest clutching about how this pyramid of adversity was going to be dismantled, and the infrastructure supporting this racism in these universities was going to be taken down. But Harvard alone got sued by Asian students that went all the way to the Supreme Court for discrimination. We saw that this hate cult bred anti-Semitism and Jew hatred, and then people, we over and over found out, you know, their lives were destroyed because they they fit into one of these categories. But they want to preserve that. All of these offices should be destroyed. And the fact that that woman, they sent that out and never occurred to them, hey, we might get sued or I might get fired, never even dawned on them.
And Johns Hopkins, you know, one of the finest institutions in the world that should be focused on saving lives.
I agree, because I have 2 master's degrees from them, and I'm still paying them off, so they need to get it together. You know, what's interesting to me when I heard her definition, I like to think about what Ronald Reagan talked about when he talked about conservatism. You know, I fundamentally believe I want a better life for everybody in this country, and I don't think that you have to do it by tearing others down, by saying you, Patrick, as the, not to offend you, middle-aged white male. Maybe I think you're middle-aged, but you look great. I'm middle-aged too, don't worry. But, instead of tearing you down and saying you're privileged, you have all of these things, boo you, why don't we lift everybody up and say, let's actually provide, which I think this country does, but let's provide more opportunities for people to work hard and earn their way. I don't think you have to tear down Christians or men or people who are not an ethnic minority in order to lift up people who are behind.
Emily.
Yeah, says the doctor, you guys. Says the person who enjoyed the highest education and the opportunity of this country. Broadly sweeps into a million categories, every single person essentially but herself. Save it. I hate her apology. I don't care who wrote it for her.
Right.
It sounds like every other corporate apology out there. And by the way, poorly worded, the whole thing sucked. The entire thing was an overbroad, over-vague, casting aspersions to essentially everyone who was in a different group than she was. And she has no idea anyone's individual story. It was patently offensive, and I thought her apology was only slightly more of a joke than her first definition.
Tell us how you really feel. Emily Campagno, well said as always.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.